just word recall. I'll be in the middle of a sentence and words that I know are just gone.
Dr. 𝕬𝕤 is going to give me the results.
That's where you are.
No.
Today we are headed to Cognitive FX. So this is...
You're heading there.
I'm heading there, but Gentry's driving me because they said that they don't want you to drive. They want you to like not be on your phone. They don't want you to, I don't know, really do anything other than the treatment. So Gentry's driving me. They actually wanted me to stay at a hotel near their facility, but to be honest with you, I get too much anxiety to stay alone. So
This is the first time I'm driving Betsy to a doctor's appointment, and like, usually she's always driving me. But basically what she's going to, she had a concussion during the plane crash, and it's kind of made her brain,
I feel like
feels like foggy, right?
yeah, and like slower than normal. Like I can't remember certain words. It's actually driving me crazy. And like I just kept thinking it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. But I ended up going in. It's called a functional MRI. So you're in an MRI machine and they give you like quizzes. And so you have like this little paddle like with 4 little A, B, C, or D answers, and then they'll ask you questions, and then you just push with your thumb what answer it is. Well, the crazy thing is it showed how that my concussion is affecting my brain because I scored not very well on this, on like every area, to be honest with you. So what they say too is a lot of times you're like one part of your brain is overcompensating for the part that's underperforming. See, can't think of words. Luckily he's here to help. So anyways, but then you're exhausted by the end of the day, which also is me. And it's just frustrating because like people's names, all of a sudden they just, I know your name, but I can't remember it. Or like stupid words, like, I don't know, I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I'm like, what's that? And it's worse than normal. Like, I mean, everyone has a little bit of that, but I feel like it's gotten a lot worse. Anyway, the test showed that all these things are happening as well. So I'm excited to go figure out what's wrong with my brain and hopefully get it fixed. It's a week-long treatment. They've even said that some people go back for a second week because they feel so much better just after the first week. But I'm interested to see how it goes.
I think it's crazy because like if I heard somebody was going to do this, I'd be like, do you really think that's going to work?
Yeah.
So we've had friends that have done it, and they swear by it. So at the end of the week, we'll give you the honest feedback.
Oh, do you know what else too is the person that referred me to Cognitive FX is his neurosurgeon. When I met with him talking about Gentry, he was telling me, he's like, if you have a concussion, he's like, the best place you could go is Cognitive FX. We had a friend, sorry guys, this is one more thing. We had a friend who had a concussion 4 years ago. She went in to go be like what's that called? See, again.
I don't even know.
Anyways, they did a test on her and they could see that she had a concussion 4 years ago just from looking at her test. Anyway, I thought that was really interesting. So here we go. Most that really drive me nuts. When you've thought of them, you can go ahead and tell me and I'll write them down. Okay, so number 1 is just word recall. I'll be in the middle of a sentence and words that I know are just gone. And then I'm having a harder time focusing and concentrating. I used to be able to just like listen to an audiobook and really like understand what's like, it's almost like I hear it, but it's a noise rather than me comprehending and understanding. Mm-hmm. And then the third is I feel exhausted. It's like I'll have so many options that it almost feels overwhelming and I just give up, you know? Like, normally I'm very opinionated, but if there's too many options, it's like, I can't.
So that is a very, very common thing is, to get fatigued or to get a headache when you're doing the COG. So my biggest tip for you would be just to alert your therapist. They'll be able to work with you and help you analyze it and evaluate it to decide if it's severe enough that maybe we should take a break, or if they think that it would be beneficial for you to keep pushing.
Okay.
So just bring it up to them. That way we can, keep a good balance.
Okay.
So your brain doesn't literally break in half. Kind of want to avoid that.
My name's Ian. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How did it start so far?
Good. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Ready to get going?
Yeah.
Good. Cool. So what I'm going to do is this called neurointegration therapy. So I'm looking at your eyes, your inner ear, body, breathing, all these things individually, how they all work together.
Okay.
So first thing I do is ask all the questions about what has happened, what you've gone through, when you tried it already, so we know where to kind of move forward.
Okay.
How are you feeling right now? Do you have any headache? What's happening right now?
I feel good.
Okay. Do you get headaches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How often? How much more air you're getting again when you breathe again?
Yeah.
That's how we should start to breathe naturally. It will take some work to get that to become a new pattern. And as long as all have to do that first, but I want you to kind of work on that longer exhale. So you actually have space in the lower lungs to get more air.
Well, I think this is going to be awesome for Betsy, and you can just tell, like, these people are just so nice, and I know they can help. I'm actually more excited after like hearing them talk to her and seeing like the environment, because places like this can be a little bit overwhelming, but the way they have it set up, you wouldn't even be concerned at all. Like, every fear that you have about coming to something like this would just be wiped away, because they tell you everything that's going to happen, and they're just here to help. So I'm super excited for the end of the week when Betsy gets all of her results back, because I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to do really, really good things for her.
Okay, so I have to add 3 to every number that you give me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go for it.
All right. 5, 26, 2.
8, 29, 5.
Nice. 16, 7, 4.
19, 10, 7.
Great.
So now she's gonna read me a 5-word sentence, and I have to read it back exactly backwards.
All right. So first one, let's do football is a contact sport.
Sport, contact, football. Nope. Is football.
There you go.
It's harder than it looks. So one thing that I found that's been really hard for me since the accident is if I look in a drawer just trying to find the spatula, like if I open a drawer and it's full of all the utensils, I can't find like a specific spatula. Or if we're driving by and my kids are like, hey, look at that, there's so-and-so. I'll look out and it's like my eyes can't scan. And so then they just made me do an activity where I have to scan and find letters or words, and it was really hard for me. And then I was just talking, and guess what? I'm gonna show you what happened in my MRI, and this is why it all makes sense. So here's just part of my scan, and will you tell everybody what happened, or like why it's hard for me?
Yeah, in the brain there are certain areas that contribute to visual searching and object recognition, and those are typically right here, what we probe for on this type of exam, which is a visual search task. And as you can see right here, we want to be in the dark blue area. Here, you're activating really high. This one's not getting a lot of activation. You want these to be next to each other and in the blue area. And this right here, superior colliculus, is high. When these are not functioning very well, it's gonna make it really hard to do even simple tasks.
See, so I feel like almost a little bit justified that it's like proving that I'm not just going crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
So, okay, so Nate's gonna give us some more information, actually you just go into it.
Okay. Yeah, so our approach to therapy is very comprehensive. We have years of experience working with people with brain injury, looking at the results from their FNCI, which is a very specialized form of functional MRI, looking at how the brain is functioning during a specific task, and also just seeing how those patients perform while they're doing the tasks that we probe for.
Explain how you were talking about how if you teach someone to ride a bike, so that
Yeah.
the MRI will show certain parts of the brain, but then as you do do certain tasks, it opens up for you guys to say, okay, we need to do a little bit more of this for
Yeah,
the
so
patient.
between the different approaches of knowing what this says on the scan on their performance and how they behave during a specific task, it allows us to see what's lacking and what to continue working on. So like the analogy I gave you is like learning to ride this broken bike. The scan shows us what major parts are broken in the bike, so we can start targeting those, start fixing them, but also we want to see how you ride the bike, how well your brain's doing just with any task. And so as you start to ride it, we also can see other things that are wrong, and we can keep fixing those.
Maybe
as
we're
it
leaning
goes
over
on.
to one side, and so you're
Yeah.
like, hey, that's what's wrong, we need to lean you over the, you know, or that was probably a terrible example.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is it's literally so individual. Every activity and your whole progress is, there's not one person that's the same, really.
Oh yeah, everybody comes in with a different kind of bike brand, everybody comes in with different broken parts, and
Yeah.
also just the ability to ride the bike, amount of experience and things. And so all that comes in together with how we go through each of the therapies. Some people even fatigue faster than others. And so it's a very like integrative and very collaborative process to know what the patient needs and how hard to push them and in what specific way.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yep,
Thank you, Nate.
yeah.
I'll see you up at the top. Today is results day. This is my preferred form of transportation now. Big enough where I can kind of spread out in here. So this is a little behind the scenes.
I held my right there and I'm like, this is so weird. This is where they would tell me to go. And then I found out I went to the wrong place. She's like, oh, that's more of our storage room.
Well, hopefully that frame gets fixed.
But in my defense, where would you have gone? That's the only door that had the sign on it.
Yeah, but they need to have a classy door even for the storage room.
Okay, so I just met with Dr. 𝕬𝕬𝕟, who is the clinical psychologist, and she said to expect to see results over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll continue to feel different and better over the next 8 weeks. I'm excited about it.
Today is the day that I did a week here at Cognitive FX and I get to find out my results. So I did an MRI before where they were able to check my brain where I was. And then last night I did my second MRI and now Dr. 𝕬𝕬𝕟 is going to give me the results. This is, I feel like, the best part of it because you get to see, like, I know physically how I feel. I know how things are changing in my own brain, but this is like, you get to see it on paper. So anyway, here we go.
Okay, so we started off with your first functional MRI,
Okay.
and your initial score that we talked about was at a 1.33.
Okay.
Now what does this mean? Well, if we're comparing your brain to a healthy normal population, which scores around 0, that shows us that your brain is working harder.
Okay.
It's not getting energy to some areas of the brain, and some areas are where we're working and getting too much energy, too much blood flow. So we use this report to essentially get that number down into that green zone.
So lower is better.
Lower is better.
Lower is better.
That's where you are.
No.
Negative 0.16.
I literally want to cry. That is so awesome.
That's your hard work. All we did was give you the tools. This is really amazing.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want you to note is that these biomarkers, these are systems within your brain. So we looked at not just your brain, but different pieces of it. And you met 4 out of the 5 biomarkers. That means the majority of the systems in the brain that we were looking at for you were not doing their jobs properly and they were holding you back. You meet 0 of the biomarkers. If I had seen this report, I would have gone, I don't know if this person's ever even had a head injury.
No way.
Clean slate.
That is so cool.
So, we're gonna walk through some of the details of all the things that you've done this week.
Okay.
Starting off with these different tasks. Alrighty, questions?
Nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, big deep breath on the
I
next
know.
one.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
It's true.
Because nobody knows about this. Yeah, the very few that
And I
do.
think people have been following too closely because of the plane crash, you know? So, are you recording?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, is it off?
No, it's on.
Oh, the plane crash video has like over 2 million views. So I feel like it's something that this would be like, people would want to know, you know, if they have.
Your recovery. and-
Yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, okay, continue on.
Alright, that sounds good.
part, it's just like a post-epic pricing sheet. So most people never need this, but if you wanted to come back for booster days or for an individual appointment,
Okay.
there are pricings there. You do get some things for free though in the aftercare, and that's these guys right here. So in 2 weeks, I'm gonna email you and check in. I'll say, hey Betsy, how you doing? Any questions? You know, we can chat via email or we can set up a Zoom call, talk about anything you need. Do the same thing at 3 months.
Okay.
Also, at any point within a 6-month period, you can meet with one of our neuroscience practitioners again if you're having more, you know, in-depth questions or concerns there. That is free of charge too.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome.
It's officially been a week since I got done with my cognitive FX. Here's the thing.
Hey, I've actually seen a huge difference in you. I'm not saying something.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you every day, so like I know
Just to
you're-
pinpoint what like difference is. So I'm actually making Gentry go do it too, because I noticed I can feel a difference and I can feel a difference. They gave you me tools too, so like I could tell when my brain was getting overstimulated and I just needed to go and listen to the Brainwaves app and like just destimulate.
Call it.
And also I'm making my mom go too, because my mom was in a car accident like 20 years ago, and I thought it was just like she's getting old, so she's like stumbling on her words all the time, forgetting things. But I really think it's from the concussion she got 20 years ago. So I'm excited to see my mom's results. I'm excited to see Gentry's results. It's funny because I noticed things on you that I didn't notice before since, you know, like since I've gone in and gotten treated. I'm like seeing more on Gentry. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so important for him to go too. So it's honestly such a cool thing. It's a pricey treatment and some insurances don't cover it, but to me, it's like, it's your brain. Like it's worth the investment. So anyway, if it's something that you are looking at doing, I can't say enough how much I loved it, especially like just seeing my results. That was the other thing too. I'm like, of course they can fake results, but it's like the pinpointed things. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was the part that was so hard for me, and now I can see it, and I see it in the results.
I think it's important, even if you don't have head injuries, if you know somebody that does, like this could be a game changer for them. So if you know somebody that's went through something like that,
that's why I feel so passionate about doing videos and sharing it, because it's like, of course you don't want to admit like, hey, I had a concussion, I still have all these issues from it. Like that's not something we want to do. But if you know it can help someone, that's a different story.
Totally.
So anyway, hope this is helpful to you guys, and comment below if you know someone, or share this video with somebody who might need it too. So there you go.